I have to change the title again. You should be able to see the link in a second. There we go. Oh god. It still says CEO of Lambda School. Let me change that real quick.
I'm definitely not the CEO of Lambda School.
Suddenly, he got younger. And his hair changed.
Posted.
Yo, what's up, Dion? Dion. Zugazi, what's up? Ramsey, Juan, what's up, dude? Lambda as in AWS. Lambda as in the code school. He's not the CEO. I messed up. Refresh the page for a new title. What's up, Ian? Aren't you supposed to be asleep, dude?
That dude's always on here.
Install Gento. Sani, what's up? Can you pick any language? Not sure what that means. Is the connection okay for you?
I'm good.
Okay. Thought it was a repeat live? No, it's not. Andrew says, great channel, thanks. So, this is Patrick. Patrick just finished his second day of Lambda Code School. And yesterday we interviewed Eva, and today we're doing Patrick. And then at the end of the week, I'm going to do like a recap of like what they thought about it. And I have some clips of like what they learned. And Patrick, tell us about yourself. What were you doing before Lambda School?
So I was trying to pursue getting my bachelor's for comp sci at my community college. I was almost done, and I kind of realized that it's a lot of pointless classes that I'm paying for and not really learning more about what I wanted to know, which was coding. So,
How long did you go to comp sci before you swapped?
2 years.
Do you feel like you learned anything that you could take out of that?
I learned C++ and how to create my own data structures without using standard library, which was a pain. But other than that, I didn't really learn anything about what I wanted to know, which was web dev, backend databases. None of them do any of that stuff.
Dang. So, why did you want to do code? Like, what was your inspiration from from a kid, or like what?
So as a child, my father always used to kind of fascinate me with stories about technology and where we're going to go with it and how amazing computers are. And around 8 years old, I started taking apart my own computers, trying to figure out what made them tick, why they work, and that kind of grew as I got older. And here I am now.
Cool. So how's it been? So you said today was like pretty intense. If you want to check it out, there's the link. Yeah, you said it was pretty intense today. What did they make you do?
So we were given a template. I mean, we kind of went over some other fundamentals that were more conceptual, and what we did is we had to put them to practice. So they gave us a template for a web page that was already created, and we had to try and reenact that using both HTML and CSS, creating our own tags, and then learning about like parent and child containers. And then from there, what we had to do was recreate that web page without using things like Flexbox or Bootstrap or any of that stuff. So it was bare bones minimum. Couldn't do anything besides that. And trust me, that stuff's hard.
Did you have to finish it by the end of the day?
So no one finished it at all. But a lot of people, including me afterwards, we got together into a group and tried helping each other, and we all finished.
That's sweet. So are you guys like actually sharing code or ending up with similar results, or is that how's that looked on?
So for right now, we're kind of limited because we're going to be exploring like actual partner coding later on and how to go about doing that. But for now, we're just posting code snippets and helping each other with the little stuff like, why isn't this button working? Well, what kind of padding do I need for it to be centered, etc., like that. Other than that, it's just been small stuff.
That's cool. Have you been talking with the project manager a lot, like one
Oh
on
yeah,
one?
yes. So today when I wasn't really understanding how to do something with my nav tags to have like an image and a nav bar next to each other. And so I was like, hey, look, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me? Because at Lambda, there's a thing called the 20-minute rule. So you have 20 minutes to try and figure it out on your own. And if you can't get help, you contact your PM and they'll try to steer you in the right direction. So I wasn't getting it. I wasn't understanding it. And I said to my PM, I'm like, hey, look, I've been doing this for 20 minutes. I don't understand. I kind of think I have it. And so we hopped in a one-on-one video conference, and I shared my screen with him so he got to see my code. And he said, well, I can see there's something wrong with your HTML. And he gave me like little hints and breadcrumbs. He doesn't just tell you what it is. So that's how I kind of fixed it. And I found out what was wrong.
That seems pretty chill. Um, yeah, the 20-minute rule. I try to use the. Yeah, I'm muting the mic so you don't hear me typing and stuff like that. Yeah, I try to use the 20-minute rule at work, but when you're one of the only dudes, like, who do you go to? So that's like one of the things with being a junior dev, especially remote, because a lot of people that want to do remote, you don't have that. They're expecting you to be able to problem solve on your own with like Stack Overflow and all that stuff. Yeah, you guys ask him any questions that you want. Pretty much, yeah, Skeleton says learn to Google 101. Pretty much web developers right now are just like glorified Googlers when we don't know a problem.
Yeah, Lambda, they say that what we're trying to teach you is how to learn, not how to code. So basically what they're instilling in us, and they even tell us from day one, is that, as a junior dev, just like you said, Josh, you guys are going to be expected to figure it out on your own. And I think you even said in one of your own past videos at your first startup that you worked at, they just slapped the book down and said, hey, you need to learn this. And that's basically what they're teaching us how to do, is how to learn and how to retain.
That's the more valuable skill, anyways. I mean, because you're gonna learn React and Python, and you could get out of this and get a job doing like ASP.NET, like then you know how to like adapt, like bob and weave. Let's see. Ivan says, did you do the initial course before the entrance exam, or did you just take it?
So I actually didn't do the initial intro course. I had taken an Udemy class with Colt Steele, which is a pretty good class for anyone who's interested in kind of dipping their feet into seeing what it's about. So I had some previous HTML, CSS, and JavaScript experience in my belt.
One question is, how are you supporting yourself if you're going full time from 8 to 5?
So I live at home with my mother.
That works. That's pretty chill. I think it's good for people who are in that situation or people who live in the middle of nowhere. Like, if you can't go to college, you can't make the commute. Like, as long as you have internet, you're good. You're good to go. A good engineer.
Oops, sorry, go ahead.
I was just reading comments. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying that one of the cool things that I know Lambda's trying out, and Austin was talking about this, I think, yesterday, is that they're piloting that new initiative where you can go and live in one of the Lambda houses in SF. So you basically live there for free, but your contract changes from 2 to 3 years at 17%. I think that works for people who can't really, live at home without a job.
So what he's talking about is yesterday, Austin CEO, when he came on as like surprise. If you guys haven't seen that stream, like that was the first time I ever talked with him. He retweeted one of my videos once, but I never had any direct communication interaction with him. Only the CTO Ben that you guys have seen. But right now they're trying out, like, they have 10, I don't know, like 10 beds or something like that in San Francisco that they're piloting, and it's free, but it's still online. Like, the course is still online, but now you have 10 other people that you can like get together with and then code like in person. Is it like college dorms? Yeah, it's like 2 to 3 people per room because it's in San Francisco, and I don't know if you know, but like a cardboard box is like $2,000 a month there.
It is.
So you guys are learning. Golden Age Media says you guys are learning Flexbox tomorrow.
Yes, we are. He's in our class, I believe, actually.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you guys know what you're going to be doing like all week, every week, or is it just like, well, I guess we'll find out today, like what we're doing?
So one of the cool things, and I think I'm not sure what her name was, who you interviewed earlier, talked about it in the stream because I was watching it. But you type in syllabus, and the Slack bot will give you the syllabus. You click on that, and as a student, you log in, and you can see what the full curriculum is every week.
Was the entrance test hard?
No. So I know one of the things we were asked to do for one of the coding challenges was using JavaScript, we had to find out the longest string in an array. That's basically kind of like the hardest one you had to do. So if that says anything.
I'd have to think about that for a minute to be able to do it. It's not too bad, but I imagine if that was your first time. What else? There was another question I missed. What's the starting salary at? That's between like 45 to 80. 80's really high. Um,
Here in the Bay Area, I know the average starting salary is about 120,000, which is
but it's like
basically 60
55K.
anywhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
55K, 60 because cost of living. Um, One says, Patrick, this is for you. Sign up for Colt Steele's web dev on Udemy. Did you take the advanced course, or do you feel like his first boot camp on Udemy is good enough to get you going for Lambda?
For Lambda, his first one's definitely good enough. I've only done half of the course, and that basically set me up to do the interview and get past all of that stuff. But as a developer, I think everyone should be utilizing every free resource or even semi-paid resource to just kind of learn and explore what you can. I mean, I'll probably do the advanced course from Cold Steel if I like it. So,
We have one question from Manas Bonzal. I guess, is it more theoretical or practical? It's both. That's why Lambda School is so long. 7.5 months. It's not 3 months or, 16 weeks or whatever. 7.5 months, half of it is web dev practical, half of it is computer science. Ian says, coming from computer science, you're obviously going to be very far back at the start of HTML and CSS. How does the slow starting pace make you feel?
well, you do kind of feel like there's a lot of redundancies, but there are some things that I didn't even know. For instance, with the Udemy course from Cold Steel, we use div tags for almost everything, but we're learning about like ES6 syntax. So there's things like section tags and other things that you don't even know about, but they describe to us that web crawlers look for those things. So I even if we're going back through redundant content, I didn't even know about that. Like I think that's incredible. So I think I'm not bored and I'm always learning and I'm engaged. So it's pretty good.
How do you feel about coding for 9 hours a day? It's not nine. You explain the schedule.
All right, so we don't actually code for 9 hours a day. What happens is you wake up, and for instance, today I was up 7:30 a.m. They give you a code challenge. You go to a website called Replit, and you try to attempt to do the code challenge, and you submit it. It'll tell you if you did it right or wrong, and you can choose to submit it anyway, even if it was wrong. Then from 8:30 to about 9:30, they go over the code challenge. They tell you what the right answer was, etc., and how to come to that solution. And then from 9:30 to about 11:30, we're doing actual lectures. So we went over today the box the box method from in CSS and things like like inline block levels and all that stuff. And then afterwards you have a lunch for about an hour, and it's not always from 11 to 12. Sometimes if the lecture goes over to 11:30, it's 11:30 to 12:30. And then from there you're given an like a what is it called, like a coding challenge that utilizes everything you've learned from like for instance today, the past 2 days. And then you do the challenges are pretty hard. For me today it took me almost 6 hours to complete the whole thing, and that last 3 hours was with people, with a group of four other people. So that's where you're coding. That's the block you're coding at. And then afterwards, which is called after hours, we didn't do it today, but sometimes they'll have guest speakers or you can talk to other people. It's more like an after party kind of sense.
One person says, "Can you get kicked out?" Not necessarily kicked out, but they take roll and you have to be present. They take roll twice a day to make sure that you're there. Otherwise, it's just not worth your time. It's just not worth their time if you're not going to take it serious. Then the other question is like, can you only take a break according to their schedule? I mean, it's remote. You can get up and walk away and go do something if you need to, but like you should probably be interacting and participating when you can.
During the lecture, every 30 minutes to 45 minutes, we do take a 5-minute break to get up and stretch and go pee and stuff. So,
See, Henry says, do you think it's going to be challenging to find a job after Lambda?
I think finding a job within itself is a job. It's about how much you put into it. I think utilizing the knowledge that I'll gain from Lambda, I'll be job ready. But it's about like applying and looking for the websites that have all the job postings and putting myself out there and networking. It's more than just saying, "Oh, you have the skills." You also need to know the people, and you also need to be actually actively looking.
What are you most excited to learn so far?
I'm. What am I excited to learn, or have
Like in the
I?
curriculum, what are you like waiting to get to?
Oh, I can't wait to start doing back end stuff like databases and all that. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be fun, I think.
Let's see. One says, how many times can you repeat a week not meet expectations where they say maybe it's best to part ways? That's not how it works. You don't. Um, what happens is if you're not meeting expectations, like you're not able to pass the kind of weekly challenge they give you on Fridays, you have a one-on-one with the project manager, and if he looks at your project, he's like, "Yeah, this is not going to cut it." If that happens less than 80%, then you have to drop back to a week behind and redo the concepts. Um, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they also said that if within that week it doesn't just seem like it's clicking, they'll actually move you back a cohort. So if I'm in CS13 and I don't understand something, and the week's gone by, and then they still don't think I mastered it, which is what they do, it's a mastered by week, they'll send me back to CS14 instead to help me master and get that knowledge down.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah. Why Lambda out of all the other ones?
So I was originally looking at like Coding Dojo, but they ask for like $20,000 up front, and I just couldn't justify $20,000 for something that I wasn't even sure, besides, maybe bloated reviews and statistics, that it is actually worth doing. And then I've been watching Josh for a long time, and I saw him doing an interview with someone else who had actually graduated from Lambda. And so I clicked on his link and I signed up, and I was like, hey, it's zero up front, and I only pay if I get a job utilizing what I learn. It sounds like a win-win for me. So I went ahead and took my shot.
Yeah. So I actually didn't know that he was going to say that. So thanks for the shill. Thanks for making me look like I paid you to say that. Um, but that's cool. Let's
But
see.
it's true. But it's true.
Um, I mean, so I think there's like different business models for different code schools, and some work for others, right? Some people want to pay as they go, and there's certain code schools and code boot camps for that, where you just pay X dollars a month, pay as you go, and if you need to stop and take a break, you can. But this is like, I don't know. There's certain ones that like, if they don't guarantee you a job or they don't defer the tuition, it just doesn't seem like they're investing in you. It's like they have nothing to lose and they just gain everything. And so I don't really think that I would want to cover schools like that because I just don't think, I don't know. It just doesn't. It's for you guys, right? Like if they wouldn't invest in me, I wouldn't want to do that. The one that I went to didn't have like a job guarantee or a tuition guarantee or anything, but like it was so new at that, I don't know, almost 3 years ago, no one was offering that now. What's the dream end goal, Patrick?
The dream end goal is to be making decent money, at least here in the Bay Area or possibly wherever I move, and to be able to own a house before I'm 55. That's the dream goal. If I reach that, after that, it's going to probably be maybe own a Lamborghini.
That'd be
Wish.
sweet. So what you need to do is you need to find a job in San Francisco and then barter with them to let you work remote so that you can move to like Oregon and buy a house super cheap. And then be making
Yeah.
those San Francisco dollars cuz.
Well, it's actually kind of interesting because I've done some research on this. In Oregon, the cost of living is a lot lower, but they actually get about the same pay rate range. I don't know why, but maybe I'm wrong.
It's more of a, I don't know, people on the West Coast, like actually that's not true. Uh People on the West Coast get paid pretty decently in general. Actually software in general. Unless you live in a small town where there's not a lot going on, then they know that they can't pay you. Do I think boot camps accept scholarships? It depends on the boot camp. Not there's no like they're not accredited by the whoever accredits stuff. It's not like part of the federal government or anything like that, so they can't give you loans or any scholarships. But there are like private institutions, like private banks, that will help you out. Um, do they make coding fun? A lot of his college professors make it really boring.
Oh yeah, it's if you're trying to find the difference between your chemistry teacher who talks monotone and very softly It's a lot more ampled up than that. So it's more relaxed, kind of like what me and Josh are doing. So the instructor is sitting in his chair, sharing a screen, showing the code. He's talking great. He's got great energy, and I find myself engaged the whole time. It's not like I'm falling asleep and like I'm trying to force myself through the lecture. So it's pretty fun.
So you have like 75 people in there. How hard is it to interject if you have a question? Can you do that?
So in the Slack channel, there's a specific emote called question. So it's a red question. So it's structured as you put the red question and then you ask a question. And it typically isn't that bad, but you find a lot of the times a lot of people out of those 75 actually have the same exact question as you. And so you can get it answered before you even start typing. So I've never had a problem getting my question answered. And I don't know, I've never really had that problem.
I would say don't fall into that trap though. Don't be afraid to ask the question because usually someone else has a question. Like I was like, you don't want to be that kid that raises his hand every 2 seconds, but at the same time, like, ask the question, bro. Um, let's see. Just got accepted to Lambda Data Science. Nice, dude. Good job, Robert. So I will let them know. I want to make sure that you get your benefit. Let's see. Can you do Lambda school from any country possible, like India or Bangladesh? Yeah, so it's a case by case basis. I think that there are people already in your cohort now, CS13, that aren't from the United States, but you have to apply. So income sharing agreements are different around the world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ian knows. What do you think about Free Code Camp? You ever do that, Patrick?
I haven't done free code camp. All of the stuff that I've done has been on Udemy, or I've been utilizing it from a college class. So I don't really have much experience with the more free side of stuff.
So what are you gonna do on your first weekend when you don't have to be doing this full time? What are you looking forward to?
Uh, well, I think when I'm done with the 6 months, I'm just gonna be grinding because I feel like I can rest as soon as I have the income, the bread coming in, you know?
So do you think like this weekend, are you just gonna still be like hashing out the code? Are you gonna take a
Oh yeah.
break? I don't think they give you a weekend project. Like that's not part of it, but they have after hours courses that you could probably get ideas from.
Yeah, I don't know, I haven't heard anything about a weekend project, but I mean, for anything that I'm not really understanding or anything that I feel like I need more work on, I'll probably over the weekend be smashing on it. The one thing you have to understand is they're not going to teach you this and retain this for you. So the more time you're spending on the code, the less you have to worry about it later.
That's true. I know it's hard. It can be like it's pretty easy to get burnt out, especially at first. Well, let's see what do we got here. Robert, that's awesome, dude. For real. So my thoughts on Free Code Camp. My Free Code Camp is pretty good. They have I mean, it's free, right? So it's all community based, pretty much. And then I know you can like take turns doing like live streams and um, all this stuff. I know they have some. I've read some blogs about people that have done Free Code Camp. I'd say it's definitely worth checking out for sure. I mean, there's a lot of different models for a lot of different people. It's a pretty competitive space, which supposedly only benefits us, right? So invest in some personal project. Yeah, you could do that on the weekend. You could just be making some stuff, some small little static websites. Use some boilerplate code, build some static sites. Try and I don't know, call someone up this weekend. Be like, yo, can I make your website? That's a good idea, AJ.
And the nice thing is I have a lot of friends who are artistic, or like, for instance, I have a friend who's doing photography. I just tell them, hey, like, look, I'm learning how to build websites. I know you need a website, or you probably want a website. I will build you because it looks good in a portfolio. It's, you know,
Yeah, for sure. Um, and then you get like a 1 hour. You get like a 1 hour break per day, right, for lunch? Or are you supposed to be
yeah,
working through that?
no. They highly encourage you to get up from your seat, go out, stretch, they even say like, hey, go work out, because a lot of people find that after when they're done working out and they've eaten, they come back with a refreshed mind.
I think it'd be cool. And then how often are the sorry, it's Pioneer Day in Utah, and so what you hear are fireworks outside every 2 seconds. So my dogs are like losing. I don't know if you guys can actually hear it, but it's scaring me a little bit because I'm just trying to communicate. Um, see, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
I don't know.
Fantastic. I must be really engaging. Um,
That's great.
do you regret having the college experience? So you only went for 2 years, right?
Yeah, so I was in it was community college, so actually didn't come out with student debt, thankfully.
And in
But
California, which is insane.
yeah, but to answer the question, do I regret it? I wish if I had the information I had now beforehand, I probably actually wouldn't have gone to college. I would have looked up for a boot camp or just try to teach myself. But I think the thing you find for a lot of people who have a degree in a field like CS where you could learn the skills yourself is they don't regret college because of the experience that college also provides. So the friendships, the networking, the parties, the drinking for some people, I think it's different for everyone. But for me, I would have skipped it.
I think I would have gone back and skipped it too. But at that time, I don't think any of this existed, so it would have been a poor choice because I would have been the hamster that they were testing. Um, let's see. How old are you?
I'm 24.
How do you balance your social life and Lambda school? It's only been 2 days. It's not really a fair question.
Um, if I could predict how it would be, it's not that hard. A lot of my friends are literally just a PM away, so.
Yeah. Let's see. So Robert was like, "Are you holding down a job now?" So I don't even think you could hold down a job unless you like as soon as you finished, you were doing something part time at night, doing some
Um,
moonlight.
so I was going to like try to see about getting a part-time job on the weekends, but I just even from the second day, from how like winded I've been, I don't think it's feasible to be able to keep up with the code and keep a job. So uh, for the 6 months, I'm probably just gonna buckle down and do as much as I can with this, and then get a job.
Yeah, for sure. Um, let's see. Do you see yourself working for a company or freelancing? What's your goal?
So I'm not much of a freelancer. I probably the ultimate work job goal is remote work. So with probably a big company, hopefully, but that tends to not happen very much.
Well, larger companies, unless the large company is already fully remote, like Envision is one of them. They're all like it's a pro remote company, and there's like hundreds of people and managers on managers. I don't know. I interviewed there, and I got to like stage 4, and he's like, "Great work, yeah, definitely get back to you." He got back to me with that. Thank you for applying. We'll keep you in our system in case there's any up. Like, all right, bro, cool. You seemed cool. You had Star Wars posters I complimented you on, and we were bros for our 15-minute interview, and you told me
Have a
no.
connection.
But anyways, um, what do you think about Hack Reactor? Do you know anything?
I know that I think Hack Reactor is one of the bigger coding boot camps in the country. I know they just got bought out by I don't remember the code the
Galvanize.
yeah, I've never heard of Galvanize, so I don't know how that works, but I've been told that especially in their San Francisco branch, they have one of the bigger hiring rates. I think it's like 96%, and they go on to a lot of big four companies, but I've never done Hack Reactor, so I can't really comment on the quality.
So Hack Reactor was like the OG bootcamp. They had like their selling point was like we'll get you a job with 6 figures, but you're in San Francisco, so 6 figures is the equivalent to junior salary. So it's more of just a bragging right on paper. Like, yeah, I make 6 figures, but my rent is $4,900 a month. What up? Like, let's see.
Yeah.
Can you make a bot that pretends to go to class? Yeah, just make a VR bot. Easy. Make a Wii person. What are they called?
The a me or
Yeah,
am
make it
I?
just a Wii me and then do that. So David, to answer your question, you saved up 18,000 for Hack Reactor. Do I think it's worth going to that and getting in there? So I don't think that you should have to pay up front really, unless there's a job guarantee. And Hack Reactor doesn't have. I don't necessarily think they have a job guarantee. I think it was more like 99% of our graduates get a job with 6 figures, but it's not a guarantee. Like, you should get your money back if you don't get a job.
Take that 18K, take 2K of it, open a Roth IRA saving account for retirement, and then take the rest and put it in a savings account.
Or you could just max out your Roth. I think you get 5K a year, you can max out your Roth. So just go ahead and
Yep.
max that and then take the rest. But he's in the Philippines, so he can't do that.
Oh,
You have a bachelor's in CS, 1 year in IT. If you attend and finish this camp, what are your chances of getting a job? So we talked with Austin yesterday, and he said he has the data from the first cohort, And he said like I think it was 83 or 85% of the graduates from the very first Lambda School cohort have gotten jobs within 6 months. And so that leaves the rest of that, which they're not paying anything. They're not paying anything back. So, I mean, yeah, you want to find a job, but you're not pressured. You're like, oh, I got these loans coming on the way. I need to find something, or I'm gonna be homeless. Like, that's not how it works. You don't pay until you get a job. Or it's like they give you your money. Go to a school that like gives you your money back if you don't get a job, because then that's on them for not adequately preparing you. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd say if you don't have a job within 6 months of just hard grinding like job work, it's you have to kind of base it off of like, well, if you had loans and debt, you'd have 6 months to find a job to start paying that too, right? So
That's how Dev Mountain did it when I went there. Dev Mountain was it was like 11 grand or 9 grand, somewhere in between there, and it was the full time 9 to 5 for 3 months, and then there was no guarantee, and there was people taking out financing options to go. And actually, I worked with a coworker that went to the full time dev one, and I went to the part time one. I paid 4,500 up front, which I thought at the time was like ridiculous. Um, and then he paid 10,000, but he financed it, and so he had to get a job because those loans were coming due in like 60 days, and they were like $600 a month, like with no job, and he had a kid, like newborn, and a wife, and like it was intense. So I think if you can avoid that, you should, because it's not fair. I don't know. They should invest in you, right? It's on them to prepare you, and I don't think you should go to a school just for the name, because at the end of the day, you're not going to be leaning on. You shouldn't be leaning on someone or some school or some reputation of someone else to like fulfill your own value. And here I go with the Tony Robbins shit. I'm sorry. Let's see. When you complete code boot camps, do you get some sort of certificate? I mean, yeah, you get a certificate, but it's not accredited because you don't need accreditation. Like if you were an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer, you'd probably want some accreditation so that people know that you can build houses and buildings and car parks without them falling. What's up, Kevin? Welcome aboard. Let's see. You don't really need a certificate. That's why the whole thing, like, you don't need a bachelor's degree to do this.
this job field's about proving that you can actually do the work, not about what kind of paper you have.
Let's see. When showing the curriculum, did they show you the projects that you'll be working? Yeah. So you can actually go there. It's called Learn. Go to the link,
Learn.lambda.
learn.lambdaschool.com, and then you can see everything that they're teaching. Um, how much is solo versus pair programming?
Wait, I'm confused. What do you mean? Like, how much is the code work?
So when the question for non-instruction time, how much of it is solo versus pair programming?
So that's actually determined by you. So you can do it solo by yourself the whole time. You're not really forced to do pair programming, at least so far. You can meet up with people in the Slack and ask, hey, like, does anybody want to code together? And we were doing that for about 3 hours with the group of 4 or 5. I know when we get to I think there's some back end stuff like React or something. They said that there might be some mandatory pair programming just so we can get because it's easier to learn off of each other than it is to learn from an instructor. But so far, pair is just kind of optional, so that's up to you.
We had one question from Shibu Hara. Is this program directly taught? Let me scroll down a little bit. Are you able to get help easily? Do you have to Google around? So this is like full time. You have a mentor. It's like 8 to 9 students to a mentor. You can message them anytime. There's after hours courses. Like they take your attendance. They make sure you're there. This is not self paced. This is literally online boot camp. You have to go or they kick you out. Yeah. Hopefully that answers. What stack does Lambda School teach? I'll let you answer.
So I'm not sure about the stack. I know we're doing a couple different things like React. I don't think we're doing Angular. I know we're gonna do maybe some Redux, but they say that it changes every day. So like for instance in CS12 and CS11 they said that they got some feedback saying that like, oh, the Redux wasn't that good, or the Redux is a little too much, and so they adjust the program like every accordingly. And they also get feedback from people in the industry about what's kind of like in. So I think one of them is MERN, and they don't exactly they don't stick to just one stack. So it's a couple of different things.
Yeah, so you do Python Django for the computer science section. MERN is the main well, React is the main library that you learn for the web dev portion of it, since that's like the most applicable for getting a job. So not only does it work for you, it works for them to best prepare you for what's most popular, higher chances of you getting a job, higher chances for them to be profitable and make their money back. Am I drinking Coke, or what are these unwanted calories? I'm drinking Pepsi Max. Can I get a sponsorship, please? No, but seriously, um, I don't. Yeah, no, it's zero. I know it's the fake sugar. It's not good, but it's still like roughly 5 calories, so it's fine. Um, what else we got in here? How long do they spend on each topic? Roughly a day.
Well, I know like for today we were doing the UI, which is both HTML and CSS. That was 2 days. So they typically start, this is the structure we were told, is they'll start a new instruction one day, follow it up with more instruction on the second day, and then you start a new one the next day.
Yeah, so you have like 2 days per real topic, real like section. So tomorrow he's gonna learn something like totally probably different, and then so you have day one, main new topic. Day two, all right, let's finish out this topic, review it, make sure you solidify the concepts here. And day three, new topic. So it's like every other day, and then at the end of the week on Friday you have like this project, or I guess it's like a whole day just dedicated to like a challenge that you have to complete. Then you have to show the mentor, and he passes you or not. And if you don't pass more than a few times, then you get pushed back to the last class until you get it. So Tech is Life on the website says 17% for 2 years. Thought it was 3. No, it's 17% for 2 years. Once you get a job making 50,000 using the skills at the cohort you learned, or at the path you picked. So if you pick data science, you need a job doing data science. If you graduate and get a job making 50K as a salesman, like selling cars on a car lot, you don't pay back. The 17% for 3 years is if you want to live in San Francisco, but that's like trial period, and they're only letting 10 people do it right now because it's so expensive for them to rent out those rooms. Do they build on previous topics? Yeah, so that's what you do. One day is brand new topic. Next day you build on it and solidify it. Next day brand new topic. Then the next day you build on it, solidify it. That's how it goes.
Yeah, for example, this week, these first 2 days, like for instance, the second day, we built the website without Flexbox. Tomorrow, we're actually going to start Flexbox. So we learned the basic fundamental building blocks, like bare minimum, and then you add on to that the easier framework to help you with it.
Yeah, dude. So, yeah, if you guys have any more questions, it's 10:11. I told we do this for 30 minutes, but we all know how 20-minute streams goes on this channel. We just end up, because, I don't know, we're just trying to help. So, like, if you guys got questions, how often are repayments? Monthly? So you don't pay anything until you get the job, and then you start paying back 17% of your gross or after-tax income. Or actually, no, it's your pre-tax. Yeah, your pre-tax income over 50,000 once a month. Do they offer FAFSA? No, it's not accredited by the federal government, so it doesn't have FAFSA or anything like that.
They do have a website where you can calculate how much you'll pay a month, based off of how much you'd be making a year.
Yeah, so I mean, like, if you get a job straight out of this, and you're making like 130K, you're gonna be paying back 17% of that. So if I do the math, uh, so that's 22K a year. If you're making 130K out of Lambda school, and then so it caps out at 30K. So you'd pay 17% that first year, you'd pay 22K back, and then that next year you would only pay the remaining 8K up to 30K. So
Yeah, I think after the very bare minimum for you to have to pay less than 2 years is like 74,000 a year, something like that.
yep. Can you see the chat? I'm just asking you questions from chat. I don't know if you have it
Oh,
up.
oh, I don't have it up because I
Oh,
didn't
okay,
want to.
yeah. So why are there small groups? Are you with those small groups for the entire 6 months? Yeah, so you're assigned to a project manager. He has like 8 other people he's going to get to know real well. And I'm going to be following Patrick and then Eva from yesterday and for the next 30 weeks. And I'm just going to be jumping in a few times a week to their lectures, to their stand-ups, to their project reviews. And then we're going to be doing these because I want you guys to be able to see what this is like. I'm sure there's going to be a point in time, hopefully not, but I'm sure there will be, where Patrick is like, yo, I'm done. I'm walking out. And then the next day he's going to be like, yo, this is the best ever. Like, because that's how it goes. Um, what other questions did I have? Do they help you get a job? What do they do for interviews, portfolios? You can explain that.
So I know near the end, I think about the 6th month, there's something called Lambda Labs where they basically you do like it's like mock groups where you basically mimic the environment of what it is actually to write production code. And you do all that, and you basically create what's called as a capstone project. So it's the same exact idea as like a thesis in college or a project that you would do for your bachelor's degree. But you create this project over like the next month and a half, and then what you do is you defend that capstone project. And by defending it, you're doing that in front of people who are like hiring partners and other people at Lambda. And that's basically like your overarching, like your final. And then that's when, depending on like how you do and stuff, you can probably get a job from some people. I think Austin said yesterday that someone got an offer from Microsoft from their capstone project.
He said someone got an offer from Google too, but they didn't accept it.
So yeah, that's kind of like what happens, and I actually kind of forgot the actual question through my description.
It was
So
just
I hope I
about
answered it.
how they prepped you for interviews and stuff. So that's how. I
Yeah,
mean, there's like some job support after. Like they have a career services team. They help you build your resume. They like the whole interview thing. They give you a warm up problem every morning, so that is taken care of just then. I mean, you'll probably need to take some time out for yourself. Is this a Lambda School ad channel now? No, I'm just shadowing them.
yeah, they have they have a whole career development department, and I know that they help you like stand out, and they teach you like how to do things with your portfolio and how to make your resume look great. They do all that stuff afterwards and help you to get a job because I mean, obviously for Lambda, it's kind of like dependent on that. That's how they get their revenue. So
Yeah. So Billy, let me address you again. Is this Lambda ad channel? So the way I try to structure everything is just to present information and let you make the decision. I've actually reached out to a few other places, but no one has responded. So uh, this is what I'm doing now. So ideally, I'd like to show inside looks at other places like Flatiron Assembly or the Iron Yard or whatever, right? But they didn't respond, and so Lambda School did, and I know the CTO because he was my boot camp teacher. So it just seems normal to shadow this. You actually made a live stream. What's up, dude? Do you have to have a passion for code to do this, or can anyone jump in?
if I was to answer this like honestly, you just even if you went through this coding academy, you or the boot camp and you just pushed through and you learned, I honestly believe you need to actually have a passion to be able to just kind of go into a job or a career doing this. Like, yeah, maybe you're thinking to yourself, oh, all I do is sit at my computer and code and look at bugs, and that's how I make my $80,000 a year. But it's more than that. I just don't think that anyone who wants to do it and doesn't have a passion for it can do it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people come into these boot camps, these industries, and they've been doing something totally different, and they know that it's like physically easier, right? You're not killing yourself, you're not digging ditches and stuff like that. But they do it for the wrong reasons. They don't actually care about code, and that shows in their work and their motivation. One person says, how much experience did he have? 2 years computer science at community college. How much math is involved in web dev path? Basic algebra, I would say. If you want to do data science, I know part of that data science prep is actually doing some derivatives, which is calculus 1, basic derivatives.
And linear algebra for some other stuff.
Linear algebra, yeah, some statistics. Coding's hard, you don't need a passion. Pretty much. I mean, if it was easy, everybody would do it, which is, all these code boot camps are popping up and everyone's trying to do it, and then everyone, not everyone can get a job. So it comes down to you. And how do I mean it's more than that, in what capacity?
Who, me?
No, it was in the comments. I think I answered his question like halfway.
I mean, to kind of elaborate on like the whole like if you need a passion for coding, I'm subscribed to the Reddit for CS career questions, and a lot of the times you see people who never really actually had a passion for coding. They got into it for the cash because they heard about the six figures or how you could be owning your house before you're 30 from the pay you're going to be getting. And they talk about how they're depressed because they don't feel like they're actually doing what they want. They don't feel like they got into it for the right reasons. They're depressed. And I just think that kind of shows for a lot of people when they go into it because they think they're going to be making the biggest amount of money with the least amount of work as possible. I just don't see that as viable for a lot of people.
Yeah, so basically said it's more than sitting at a computer. It is more than sitting at a computer. You have to be able to communicate with technical people, non-technical people, customers. You have to be able to deal with meetings. You have to deal with like office politics. It's like more than just sitting at coding like all day. And when you are working, you're gonna, you're gonna have headphones on and probably not be bothered unless you're doing pair coding with some guy sitting next to you or on a like screen share like we're doing now. David Kang says, can you speak more on small groups, how you interact with them, how it makes you grow as an engineer? I mean, pair coding is always growing because you can get different perspectives on how people solve problems, and then you can make mental notes for yourself and apply those later. What are some programming problems? So what are the 2 warm-ups that you've been given so far?
So we had our actual first warm up today. And that was basically they were just going over the longest string and how to like do that again because they said a lot of people actually didn't understand that. And that was using JavaScript. So they said that the goal was, even though we're learning HTML and CSS for these first, I think, couple of weeks, they said they want us to keep JavaScript fresh in our minds. So we're going to be going over JavaScript in our warm-up exercises.
Dude, those are the worst. Like I always noped out. I always felt like this isn't for me because I can't figure this out so fast. Let's see, why do you think all boot camps are for web dev? I don't see many embedded systems or robotics. So I actually think that's a pretty good question. I have the same question. Web dev is just really popular because I think you need more math. You need a more like of a lower level understanding to do embedded systems and robotics, like more of a hardware understanding, some PLC logic. It's more expansive than just learning a few select stacks, and there's just a lot of jobs for it. I think the learning curve is high for web dev, but the learning curve is sharper for embedded systems. I'm not saying it's impossible, but did I learn from Lambda? No, I went to part-time Dev Mountain like 3 years ago before it was bought out by Kaplan Education, I think. How do you get on the Slack channel for what? I don't have a Slack channel. I have a Discord. Link for that is in the description. How many developers do I think get hired and don't know what they're doing? Everyone. Everyone that gets their first job doesn't know what they're doing, and if they say they know what they're doing, they're lying. I mean, you can have an idea of how to solve a problem, but if you're like, I'm the best developer ever, like it's better to stay student-like, or someone else is going to knock you off a peg, and then it's not going to be good. What are some programming problems you were giving in the class? He just answered that. It was solving the longest string in an array, right? So you have a list of strings, like hello, my name is Josh, what's up? Like obviously the middle one, my name is Josh, would be the longest string there, but you have to figure out how to do that. You disconnected a database from the front end on your first day. I merged my own pull request that modified the production front page for customers to sign up, so that was fantastic. Yeah, you gotta stay humble, or someone's gonna come and like make you humble. That's happened, right? It's like if you start feeling like you're the smartest guy in the room, you need to move to a new room ASAP, or you need to check yourself.
Forever student in CS.
Yep. I mean, there's really no point in trying to know everything because by the time you learn everything changes. So you'd have a bunch of useless knowledge. Sound went out for like 7 seconds. That's probably because I hit mute on my microphone. I'm going back and forth so you don't hear me typing when I'm typing. But what kind of job? I think your ultimate goal is like remote, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping to be at least like you said, even get maybe a remote job in San Fran, but move to a different state so you can make those big 6 figures, but lower cost of living.
Yeah, that's the dream. If you go to AngelList, there's actually a bunch of companies, a bunch of startups always offering that. And if you're working remote, just make sure you live in a city with other local options, and then work remote for San Francisco, and then you have those backup local options when they 90% chance run out of money. You'd like to hear more about the small group structure because having 60 people in a cohort, you're wondering how they manage small groups you're with. So you have you explain it again. You've already answered it, but just summarize it.
So basically, there are things called PMs, which are project managers, and they're people who used to actually go to Lambda, but they stay behind and offered their help and assistance for newer students, and in response they get like a better contract or whatever. But basically, what those PMs do is we'll take like for instance the 60 students that we were talking about, and they split them up into groups of 8 or 9, and each PM gets assigned to one of those groups. And so those PMs help those groups with any of the questions they have. You have a stand-up at the end of the day that you do with your PMs. Everybody's in the Zoom channel talking to each other. Their webcams are on. We're interacting with one another at the same time through text chat and asking questions. It's a lot more personal than it is when you're in the big lecture where like 80 something people are on at the same time. So I've actually gotten to know a couple of the guys in the private, in my 8-person group pretty well, because we've just been kind of gnawing away and asking each other questions, and they're people from so many different backgrounds and different areas. It's kind of crazy, but it's fun and it's very personal.
That
Hopefully
works.
answers.
Yeah, no, that works. What do I think about a 43-year-old trying to become a developer? I would say do it. I think the oldest person you have in your cohort right now is 58. So,
Yep, and he's great.
yeah, definitely. I mean, just do it for the right reasons. Don't do it because, I mean, it's good to do it because you want a better life for yourself, but make sure this is something that you want to do. Like, there's a couple videos on YouTube now where some guy went to code boot camp and he finished, or they got a job, and then they sat in a cubicle and code all day. Or not all day, but they sit somewhere and they code and listen to music, and they need that human interaction. You might not get that depending on the job. What do you do for fun?
What do I do? So I like to play video games. The Counter-Strike, Overwatch, League of Legends kind of.
Why are we not playing the new Overwatch hero right now, bro?
Because we're talking right now.
All right, Twitch game streams coming. We can talk about code, and you can watch us. We'll play viewer games. That's part of the Patreon perk, anyways.
I hope you are prepared for my Hanzo main.
No, you can't Hanzo main because I'm Hanzo main.
Oh, okay. We'll both Hanzo main.
Oh God, stream over. Would you recommend a beginner to start learning Python? Yeah, Python's very readable, very phonetic. You type it out like you read and write. What rank are you in CS:GO? Here we go.
Oh, my highest rank, which was about a month ago, I was LEM. That was my highest.
Oh, nice. Have we heard of I've never heard of the game Fortnite. I don't know. I think it's some sort of battle game. I don't know. Of course we know what Fortnite is, dude. What world do you think we live in? I don't play Fortnite though because I tried to develop a game I think that would have been pretty cool, like a version of Fortnite, and then Fortnite came out and I just got demotivated, and so playing Fortnite feels like playing a mutated version of the game that I wanted to make. So I can't bring myself to do it. Do you game with any of the guys at boot camp? It's been like 2 days. I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you game with people at the code boot camp?
No, so I'm when I'm coding, I try to keep myself distraction free. I even have the phone like put away under the desk so I don't look at it.
Yeah, that's a good one. You could do the thing where someone in Discord was like, there's an app you can get on your phone where you can it rewards you with a virtual tree. You plant a seed every few minutes, and then you can see the trees go. If you don't touch your phone, it like uses the little sensor in your phone to know if you've picked it up. And then if you pay $2 a month, they'll plant a real tree for you. So that'd be cool. It's the guy-girl ratio of the boot camps. It's pretty diverse, James. You can elaborate.
I don't have access to those statistics.
I mean, you don't have the statistics, but from when I was looking through the different groups that you were in, it was like 50%.
I know in our group we have like 2 or 3.
Okay, so in Eva's group is like 7 or 8. Or, okay, so I can't say 7 or 8 because that would be the whole group. I would say it was like 50% for sure. What do you do when you get stuck on code? Take a walk, take a break. I mean, generally you just gotta take a break. There's this phrase, you gotta let it get cold before you can come back to it. It's like, have you ever typed something out and then you didn't send it and then you came back the next day and reread it and you're like, what am I saying? Can I even write? How do you know if coding is for you? Do you like problem solving? Do you like sitting at a computer? Do you like being challenged and being okay with feeling challenged the majority of the time? Do you like feeling like you might not know how to solve something, but then overcoming that feeling and figuring out, where am I from? I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah. How do I manage the time to play games? How do you manage the time to play games and study?
You don't. You just don't sleep.
There you go. There's the answer. That's the real answer. Sleep when you're dead. I'm going to have to unsub after finding out I made a Fortnite clone. So this is the thing, Ian. I made my game before Fortnite was even announced. So come at me. Let's see. How do you make yourself wake up early? That one's a tough one. Set your alarm, count backwards from 5, the 5-second rule from Mel Robbins, and then get up. Do you use books to do coding assignments? No, I mean, there's so much free resources online. It'd be silly for them to assign books like they do at university. It's like a racket. Does this mean we can sue them? No. But they have taken some ideas directly from the thing. I mean, what engine did I use? I made it with Unity and C#, so you can actually go back into my cringeworthy videos where I'm like, I'm making a game. This is the thumbnail, and I like slick my hair back. It's really cringe. You can go look at it if you want. But it was multiplayer, and I had it going, and then I was running out of money because I couldn't find a job, and so that was my project. In the meantime, what's up, Katie? Welcome to the stream, Marino. What up, Roni? You were here this morning. What do you guys think about this thing here? So I'm thinking about doing a live stream in the morning, a couple uploads during the day, and then like a live stream at night if I have the time to do it. More content, the better, right? Bring back the WoW videos. Obviously, I got to get ready for BFA. Duh. Let's see. Did I study on Python before going to the program? I don't think you need Python, right?
No. They say the basic level of JavaScript, so basic fundamentals like for loops, all that stuff.
So you guys want to see live coding, but the thing is, like, I think what you're expecting is to see me make something from start to finish without pausing or doing anything. There's going to be like 45-minute stints where I'm looking at another monitor surfing on Stack Overflow, and then everyone's going to leave the stream. Like, it's better if I have something pre-made or something that I've already made, like, flawlessly a couple times, and then I code that for you from start to finish. But if you want me to make something from start to finish, there's just going to be moments where everyone's just going to leave because I'm going to get stuck, and I'm going to be just looking at Stack Overflow. Or you guys could, could you be overqualified? I mean, I suppose. Let's see. Could I share my experience, how I got my first job? You can watch the video on that. It's kind of a long story. You've seen some Twitch streams doing live coding. There's usually not a ton of people. Well, so this is the thing with live coding is that you need context. If you jump in when someone's first starting a project, it's like great, and then you jump into someone else's project in the middle of the bug, and you're like, well, this is boring. I don't even know how he got stuck on this bug, or like I don't even know what he's trying to make. Like you need context, and with the live stream, you can't exactly just back up immediately and like catch up to what he's doing. So, I mean, everyone wants to see it, but like, first of all, I have to be able to problem solve. Then I have to be able to engage with chat. Then I have to be able to, keep you entertained while I'm solving a bug or getting stuck or whatever. When did it click? It clicks every day. There's not an it click like it's an everything moment. It still happens every day. If you don't have any major experience in JavaScript, will it be a disadvantage?
So far it hasn't been for me. I mean, I don't know much like about objects or data structures in JavaScript. I haven't really touched on any of that. The most I've ever done is understanding like var, const, lets, for loops, while loops, kind of like the basics you learn first through any language. And I stopped at creating classes, but I don't even really understand classes that much in JavaScript. So,
They're just like kind of like objects, so class dot method name whatever. Um, I don't know. I just don't think people watching. I think people watching code is a very niche thing, and it's just not. I feel like I could make a better video explaining something, coding a video, because then I could cut out the 45-minute thing, but still show you the bug fix, but cut out the 42 other minutes before I find the little check mark on Stack Overflow that says best answer. like, it's a job guaranteed after the boot camp. I mean, you're not paying anything until you get a job, so in a way it is. The classic reason. I don't know. I mean, I don't mind. You guys can watch me make mistakes. I mean, I posted a whole interview that I bombed. I don't actually care. I just think for the vocal minority of people that say that they want to see that, and then I make it, and then you guys are the only ones that watch it. So it's not helpful to the other people who are like, bro, what happened to your channel? You were asking why I have a flag of. So I went to school in Finland, and I have a mechanical engineering degree. I was married to a girl there. Had the whole Finnish family, Finnish mother-in-law, father-in-law. Did all the traditions. It was really close to citizenship. I'm about 1 year away from it, but I moved out of the country, so that resets, and now I have to live there 8 years if I want to get it. So that's probably not gonna happen. Let's see. How much time do I spend coding in a day? I don't know, a few hours. Depends. How much does it take to become a junior Android developer? I'm gonna let you answer that, Patrick.
how much does it take?
Yeah, how much does it take? How hard is it to become a junior Android developer? Your reason is as good as mine because I have nothing.
It's very good, very good time.
Yeah, so I have no idea how to answer that. I don't do Android. Would I move to Silicon Valley? He lives in Silicon Valley.
I would highly suggest that unless you already have some kind of job training or have done a dev job before, do not move here.
You couldn't pay me to move there. It's too crowded. There's a lot of people without housing on the streets there. It's the same here in Salt Lake City, but it's not that bad. And Salt Lake City's cost of living is better. I'm a catch. The in-laws should be migrating. So that was the thing. I tried to get them to come to the United States. The wife didn't want to come to the United States, but this was the only place I could find a job because in the EU and Finland, they have to prove that they can't hire a Finnish person or someone else from the EU before they hire an American. Anyways, so she asked for a divorce on Christmas, and that was that. Let's see. Should you do JS and Angular? After JS and Angular, you need to learn React. Lambda is starting in Android, no official date. Yeah, so it's part-time, or it's not part-time, it's on the way. The UI UX is happening in like next month or September or October, one of those.
They do have an intro to Android.
Yeah, they have intro to Android, so like the freebie courses that you can do. What do I think about front-end opportunities in Europe? Yeah, I went to school for mechanical engineering, so I didn't actually look up anything. I didn't know anything about code. I know PLC programming, robotics, and machine automation, which is a different kind. What's the coolest thing I've built? I built an automated Android app that is a decibel meter that sends data to a database every 4 hours to compare with sound spikes in an old folks' home to see if there's been incidents at night. Let's see. All right, well, let's take a couple more questions, then we'll bounce. What do you think?
That sounds cool to me.
Do you think Prosno should become an expert at Java or spend time learning something else?
I think any of the object-oriented programming language, whether it's Java, C++, maybe even Python, even though that's not completely OOP like those are.
Hit up some Ruby.
Yeah, I think any of those low-level OOP programming languages, they're really good to know regardless if you're going to use them or not.
So, Roni, Patrick, what do you want to do after graduating? What's your ultimate goal? You can answer that one again.
My ultimate goal is to find a remote job here in San Francisco where I can move somewhere else but still make the big figures, get a house before I'm 35, and plus goal would be like maybe a Lamborghini.
So far, is the course harder and easier? I don't know. It's been literally 2 days. Probably today was like his real intro to it. Give us like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Let us get to the JavaScript part when they start getting those like real hard questions. Your best case scenario is finding a job and then getting paid in dollars. So live in the Philippines, get paid in dollars, so you get that conversion advantage. What are you doing for a living? He lives with his family and goes to school for full time. Says he's remotely studying. The whole school is remote. What are my weakest skills when it comes to web dev? I don't really like database stuff that much because I'm not good at it. So that's my reasoning for why I don't like it. That's usually for most people. People that aren't good at something tend to not like it, but you have to change your mindset to be that growth mindset so that you can be like, oh, I could learn it. I'm just not good at it right now because I haven't put a lot of time into it, or there's some missing factor that I need to put those pieces together. Hate or love PHP opinion? It's okay. Why does it have to be one extreme or the other? How much JavaScript knowledge do you need for learning React? So that's the thing. There's like a whole meme on the internet right now. You don't even need to know JavaScript to do React. Hardest part of web dev. What do you think? What do you think the hardest is going to be for you for the school on the path? What are you not looking forward to? Which you should probably change that mindset. But yeah.
The one thing I'm actually looking forward to everything, regardless if I like it or not. The one thing I think will be the hardest is connecting the back end to the front end, just getting that all together because it's just so much going on.
That's actually the missing link for a lot of people. Connecting the back end to the front end is using a lot of config files, and assuming you're using an MVC of some sort, or I don't know what you're going to use with React as your back end, but just config files, setting up some database info, putting your secret keys in. I mean, I say it like I'm an expert at it, but I've done it like twice, so I just remember it took a little bit of tedium to do it. How do you see a software market in the future in terms of, so it's just going to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. So Amazon could hire all the CS grads for the next 5 years and still have spots open, and that's just one company. So I'm going to say either be the person writing the automation scripts or be the person in the job that's going to get automated. All right, let's do like 2 more questions, then we're out. For Patrick, not for me. What's your backup plan outside of software development?
So if I'm not good at this, my fallback plan was massage therapy because I'm really good at giving massages.
See, he's a real MVP right there.
I actually have a minor degree in massage therapy, so.
Have I hacked into anything? No. Someone wants to be your first client. Let's see. Oh, okay, yeah. So any capstone project ideas yet?
I really want to build like a web app that crawls through different shelters in the surrounding. Like you can put in your zip code and it'll find like animal shelters around where you live, and then will give you the ability to look up based off of species and like age, and if they have things like broken limbs or like they have a malformation or deformity, and just give it so it's like an organized sheet for you to look at.
That'd be cool. All right, guys, we're out. We're out for the night. Thanks for hanging out. Can we get some Patrick clap emojis or some blessed emojis, please? This is the first time he's on stream. You'll see him around. He's gonna be here some more. I'm gonna be shadowing him. So, thanks for hanging out with us. Get some clap emojis just we appreciate it, dude. Thanks everyone. I'll throw some shout outs. I'll do what the coding phase does, right? We'll do what Joe does. Dion, AJ, Stickman, Isra, Abdella, Roni, Journey Gaines, Sonny S, Michael Carlos, Tech is Life, Pothead, John White, Shibuhara, Milan Thapa, Robert Bates puts a taco. Dude, that's the way to do it. Paul Brown, what's up? Juan puts peace symbol. Steven Golden, what's up? Adrian Reynolds, thanks for hanging out, guys. We appreciate you. HF Brody, what's up, dude? All right, we'll see you later. I'll probably post a video here soon. Flex, yeah. All right, good night, guys. Thanks for hanging out.